Live from New York, day 2 here at DevOps Days. I'm here with Mark Burgess, founder of CFEngine. How are you, Mark?
Very well, thank you.
So maybe you could just talk a little bit about CFEngine, how it came to be many moons ago, and what it's about.
Well, CFEngine was a project that I started when I was a postdoc in Oslo in the 1990s. It was one of the earliest open source projects dealing with configuration management. In the beginning of IT, there were no real solutions for making systems in a consistent state and repairing that state and maintaining it over time. And CFEngine was a project that I started to make that happen.
And so in those last couple decades, scale has gone way out. Back then there was much more of the scale up space. So how has CFEngine sort of gone along with that wave? Was it originally targeted at scale, and or was it more of a just basic configuration for simpler systems?
I remember in the beginning there were papers in one of the conferences, the LISA conference. There was a paper, how to scale to 100 servers and still have time to mow the lawn. And then 10 years later it was how to scale 1,000 servers and still have time. And then the orders of magnitudes have been growing ever since. CFEngine was kind of built to scale because it was designed to be very lightweight. As a physicist, I suppose, or an engineer, if you like, my intuition was that any process which is a management process should be the lowest overhead possible. And so it was designed to be super lightweight and also autonomous. And that was actually an interesting. The way to deciding that autonomy was interesting, because working at a university at the time, all academics are basically special. Everyone is special at a university. They all had special needs, and so they all wanted to have control over their own environments. And so you needed to be able to support diversity. And so CFEngine was designed to allow diversity and scale by allowing autonomy to individuals and integrating that autonomy. And that's allowed it to scale to massive size. So, in the 90s it was hundreds of machines, and now today it's literally tens of thousands of machines running on CFEngine.
And so you and I were talking earlier about customers, and one that you can mention is JP Morgan and the award you won. Can you talk a little about that?
So we are honored to have to have been inducted into JP Morgan's Hall of Technology. And we've been working with them as a company on their infrastructure. And they're a fantastic company to work with, very, very smart people. And they've made huge progress, I think. And one of those areas where they've made progress, I think, is in understanding federation. In the environment of a company like a bank, which is formed by merger and acquisition, very diverse cultures, and to be able to use that as a strength rather than as a weakness, something that to utilize that strength rather than having it divide you is enormously powerful, and I think that's why they've been successful using CFEngine.
And so how would a couple other players in this space, with people like Puppet or Chef or SaltStack now, how would you position yourselves? What is it that you focus on as opposed to what they may do?
So there is a lot of variety in the technologies. CFEngine was the first of these, and my concept of these technologies was that they should be strongly model oriented. I believe there are 3 pillars to scaling. One is, scale itself in terms of numbers, the complexity that often arises from that scale and from all of the considerations around it, and the knowledge that's required to manage that explosion of differences at large scale. And having a model-based background is very important to be able to cope with that. And you see the different tools fall in line from the spectrum of being strongly model-oriented to being simply remote execution frameworks. And then the remote execution framework end, it's very quick and straightforward, but it tends not to scale terribly well because all the onus is on a human operator to make it work. All of the intelligence is in the operator. And in the model framework, it's more like an architectural perspective where you design, you plan, you orchestrate on paper first, or in your modeling tool, and then the automation literally hands-free deploys things to the environment.
So, and then just to end with, what do you see for CFEngine, say, in the next year in features or business models, or what's new, what's coming up?
Well, the answer to that, I suppose, is what's new in the industry, and it's all about cloud, it's about platforms, it's about virtualization, continuous delivery of applications to market. I think one of the interesting things that's happening now is that IT is becoming much more business aware. The purpose for which IT is intended is we're allowing that to come to the fore, so that we can focus on generating value for businesses rather than focusing on managing the infrastructure itself. And so I think the CFEngine is very business aligned, and we want to get out features that allow people to bring things to market quickly and use their infrastructure in creative ways.
Excellent. Mark Burgess, thank you so much.